She lost everything until she found herself again. The ocean always had a voice, sometimes a whisper, sometimes a roar. This is a choosing self-respect, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. For Emma Mitchell, it had become the soundtrack of her solitude. Every morning she stepped out onto her weather-worn porch, barefoot, coffee mug in hand, and watched the Pacific roll against the sand. The waves never stopped. They breathed in and out, steady as time, ignoring the grief of anyone standing on shore. Her cottage, perched on a bluff in a small Oregon town, looked like something from an old postcard, white siding, peeling from years of salt wind, blue shutters faded from sun. It had once been full of life. Her husband, David, humming while trimming the roses, her daughter, Olivia, racing down the steps with a backpack twice her size, music playing in the kitchen. Now, only the sea filled the silence. Emma was 58, though she felt decades older. This is a family inheritance dispute, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Her auburn hair had surrendered to silver, her posture softened by years of carrying everyone else's needs. She had loved deeply her husband, her child, the life they built, but love hadn't protected her from loss. David had died 3 years ago. One minute he was pruning the garden, the next he was gone, collapsed among the rose bushes he'd planted for her 30 years earlier. A heart attack, sudden and cruel. The doctors said it was peaceful. Emma had never believed that peace could look so much like absence. The garden had gone wild since then. This is a rebuilding confidence, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. She couldn't bring herself to cut the roses back. It felt too much like erasing him. This morning the sky was pink gold, streaked with clouds like brushstrokes. Emma lifted her mug and breathed in the scent of coffee and sea air. Sometimes the hardest part of love is learning when to let go. The mug was chipped, part of a wedding gift. His mug still sat untouched in the cupboard. Everything about her life felt like that one half missing. A gull called overhead, slicing through the quiet. This is a motivational real-life story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. The sound was lonely, distant. She closed her eyes. "You've got to keep living," she told herself, the same words she whispered every morning. Just keep breathing, keep moving, keep pretending it's enough. The shrill ring of her phone startled her. Hardly anyone called anymore. When she saw the name on the screen, her breath caught. Olivia. This is a courage to walk away, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. She swiped to answer. "Hello. Hey, Mom." The voice was warm but rushed, always rushed. "Hi, sweetheart." Emma tried to keep her voice light. "How are you? Tired? We're closing a merger at the firm, so I've been working non-stop." This is a motivational real-life story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. There was a rustle papers, maybe, or the sound of Olivia walking somewhere briskly. I just wanted to check in. "How are you holding up?" Emma smiled faintly. "I'm fine. The ocean's still here. Keeps me company." "That's good," Olivia said, distracted. "Are you getting out much? Seeing people?" "I've joined a painting class at the community center. This is a love and boundaries, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts, twice a week." "That's wonderful, Mom." "Really?" A pause. "I'm proud of you." Emma's chest tightened. "Proud of me." The words should have felt comforting. Instead, They sounded like something you said to an elderly relative learning to text. This is a motivational, real-life story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. I'm doing okay. Liv, you don't have to worry. I know. I just want to make sure you're not lonely. Emma swallowed. I'm fine, she lied gently. They spoke for a few minutes about weather and work. Emma didn't mention the empty house, the dinners eaten in silence, or the nights she still reached for David's side of the bed. This is a real-life betrayal story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Her heart whispered, "Keep walking, even when it hurts." She didn't ask when Olivia might visit. She already knew the answer would be vague soon, when things slow down after the next case. When they hung up, Emma held the phone a little longer, listening to the dial tone fade. The house seemed quieter than before. That evening she prepared a small dinner salmon, asparagus, a glass of white wine. She ate by the window, watching the sun slip behind the horizon. Afterward, she wandered into the living room and paused by the photograph on the mantel. Olivia, at 23, graduation cap crooked, smile bright and unguarded. This is a story that made me cry, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Emma touched the glass. "You were so happy that day," she murmured. "So was I." She missed that version of both of them, the mother and daughter, who still called each other best friends, who laughed without effort. Somewhere between the distance, the grief, and the years, they had drifted into strangers who spoke politely on the phone. 2 days later, Emma pulled her art bag, a gift from David long ago, from the closet, and headed to the Ocean View Community Center. The building smelled of acrylic paint and brewed coffee. Familiar faces greeted her. Marjorie from the library, Beth from the bakery, a few retirees who treated art class as therapy. This is a healing after betrayal, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "Emma!" Beth waved. "Over here." Emma smiled and joined her. Unpacking her brushes, she found comfort in the ritual. Each tube of paint was like a small promise. The instructor, Ethan Rivera, entered with his usual energy silver ponytail, denim shirt speckled with colors. "All right, everyone," he said. "Today we're focusing on emotion. Don't paint what you see. Paint what you feel." This is a emotional life stories, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. He gestured toward a woman standing near the door. Every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. We also have a new student. Please welcome Sophia Brennan. Stepped forward, tall, elegant, auburn hair streaked with gray, green eyes that seemed to see everything. She smiled, a little shy but confident. "Hi, everyone. Find a seat wherever you like," Ethan said. This is the emotional family court story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Sophie chose the spot across from Emma. "Mind if I sit here?" "Please," Emma said. As they arranged their supplies, Sophie glanced out the window toward the sea. "You're lucky to have that view. I've painted coastal scenes all my life." "You're a painter?" Emma asked. "A lifelong hobbyist," Sophie said with a soft laugh. "My husband and I used to travel the coast, chasing sunsets. This is a true story, Narration, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. He'd take photos, I'd paint." Emma hesitated. "He sounds wonderful." He was a quiet beat. He passed 2 years. Got cancer. Emma's eyes softened. "This is a parent-child conflict. reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. I'm so sorry. My husband heart attack. 3 years. Their gazes met, 2 women bound by invisible thread loss that recognized loss. Sophie gave a small nod. Then we're survivors, you and I, still standing, Emma said. Some days barely. This is a guardianship abuse story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Ethan's voice broke the moment. All right, artists, let your hearts do the painting. Emma dipped her brush into blue, then gray. The strokes came hesitant at first, then freer. She painted the ocean, not calm but restless, a mirror of herself. In the corner, she added a small figure on a porch, staring toward the horizon. This is a family manipulation, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Sophie leaned over. That's powerful, she said softly. I can feel her loneliness. Emma smiled faintly. She's me. Sophie studied the canvas. Maybe. But she's also brave. This is a painful family truth, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. After class, Sophie lingered. There's a new cafe down the street, the Grind Coffee. Emma hesitated. Then, surprising herself, she said, Sure. The cafe was cozy, filled with chatter and the smell of espresso. Grief never leaves. It just learns to breathe beside you. They found a corner table. This is a sad, emotional story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. So, Sophie asked, What did you do before art took over your mornings? I worked at the elementary school, office staff. Retired a few years ago. And your daughter? Lawyer, Chicago. Busy saving the world. Emma smiled sadly. We don't talk much these days. This is a learning self-love, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Sophie nodded slowly. My daughter's in Portland. We're not talking at all right now. Emma looked up, surprised. Oh? When my husband died, I discovered debts I hadn't known about. Natalie blamed me. Said I'd been naive. We fought until there was nothing left to say. This is a mother's heartbreak, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. She stirred her coffee absently. 8 months of silence now. Emma reached across the table, touching Sophie's hand. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sophie smiled faintly. Grief does strange things to people. It changes them, Emma said. This is a story time with meaning, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. And the people who love them. They talked until the cafe lights dimmed. By the time they parted, Emma felt something she hadn't felt in years: connection. Over the next weeks, they became friends. They painted, shared lunches, told stories about their husbands and daughters. Their friendship felt easy, real, like sunlight after a long winter. One afternoon, Sophie mentioned the Tuscany retreat. It's 2 weeks in Italy. This is a sad, emotional story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Painting, wine, laughter. You'd love it. Emma laughed. I can't just fly to Italy. Why not? Sophie asked. What's stopping you? Emma opened her mouth to list the reasons: money, age, fear, but all that came out was silence. That night, alone in her kitchen, she looked up the retreat. The pictures glowed on her laptop screen: rolling hills, golden light, smiling women with easels. This is a financial independence after abuse, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. David's voice whispered from memory. You deserve this, Em. She filled out the form and clicked register before she could change her mind. She realized healing isn't loud. It's quiet and stubborn. The following weeks blurred with planning and second thoughts. Her daughter didn't answer her message about the trip until days later. "Italy sounds great, Mom. Have fun. No follow-up, no, I'll miss you. Just words across a screen." This is a learning self-love, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Still, on the morning of her flight, Emma packed her suitcase, too many clothes, too many worries, and stood in front of the mirror. "You're doing this," she told her reflection. "You're allowed to live." At the airport, Sophie greeted her with a hug. "Ready for the adventure of a lifetime?" Emma smiled nervously. "Ask me again when we land. Rome, Tuscany." The airplane shuddered lightly as it descended through pale morning clouds. When the seatbelt light blinked off, Sophie leaned across the aisle with an excited grin. This is a motivational, real-life story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Can you believe it? We're really in Italy. Emma smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "I can hardly believe I left Oregon." "Then brace yourself," Sophie said, gathering her bag. Rome hits you like a dream, and a traffic jam at the same time. Outside the airport, the heat pressed down like sunlight made solid. Taxis honked, drivers shouted rapid fire, "Italian," and 1,000 small scooters weaved through the chaos. Emma stood still for a moment, blinking at the brightness. This is a real-life betrayal story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Everything seemed too alive, too loud, too beautiful. Their driver gestured. "Signore, signore! Monteverde Hotel?" "Yes, yes," Sophie called, laughing as she helped Emma with the luggage. During the ride, the city unfurled before them, domes and fountains, laundry strung across balconies, the smell of espresso drifting through open windows. Emma pressed her face to the glass like a child. "I've seen pictures," she whispered, "but it's different when you can feel it." Sophie grinned. Some days survival itself is an act of courage. This is a learn to choose yourself, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. That's Italy. She flirts with you and then steals your heart. Their hotel was tucked on a quiet street near the Spanish. Steps, ivy crept up the facade, and a small courtyard overflowed with geraniums. Inside, a group of women chatted around a stack of luggage fellow artists from the retreat. Francesca Romano, their leader, swept forward with open arms. She was mid-40s, curly-haired with the quick smile of someone who lived on caffeine and inspiration. "Benvenute! Welcome, my beautiful painters. Tonight we eat, tomorrow we create." She ushered them to a long table in a nearby trattoria, where candlelight flickered against glasses of wine. This is a real-life betrayal story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "For the next 2 weeks," Francesca declared, "you are not tourists. You are artists. You are here to see with new eyes, to paint not the world you left, but the world you are discovering inside yourselves." The group raised their glasses. "Salute!" That night, in a small hotel room with shutters open to the hum of the city, Emma stood at the window. Rome breathed around her car horns, laughter, music drifting from somewhere below. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. This is the emotional abuse story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. She thought of David. "You'd have loved this," she whispered. "You always said you wanted to see Italy." The next morning the group gathered with sketchbooks and cameras. Piazza Navona. Fountains glittered. Artists displayed paintings. Pigeons strutted like royalty. Choose something that speaks to you, Francesca instructed. Not something perfect, something true. This is a voices of strength, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Emma sat near a fountain, sketching the curve of water and light. By afternoon, the heat shimmered. They found a cafe shaded by vines. So, Sophie said, first impressions? It's overwhelming, but in a good way. You can't rewrite the past, but you can choose what comes next. That's how life should be, Sophie said. Overwhelming, but worth it. This is a mother's heartbreak, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. They devoured Rome, the Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, the Trevi Fountain. Emma threw a coin and made a wish she didn't tell anyone to feel whole again. In the Vatican museums, she stood before Caravaggio's Entombment of Christ. Tears welled in her eyes. Sophie appeared beside her quietly. "Look at the hands," she murmured. "They're holding on and letting go at the same time." They left Rome 2 days later, boarding a small bus bound for Tuscany. This is a financial independence after abuse, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Fields rolled past like waves of green. Stone villages crowned distant ridges. "This looks like a painting," Emma whispered. "It is," Sophie said. "We just get to live in it for a while." The villa outside Montepulciano took Emma's breath away. Terracotta roofs, climbing roses, the scent of olive trees. Each woman had her own room with shuttered windows overlooking the valley. This is a painful family truth, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Dinner on a terrace glowing with candles. "Tomorrow we paint the morning light," Francesca said. "Tonight, we simply live it. Morning mist, bells of a distant church." In the open-air studio, art is emotion translated through color, gold for hope, blue for loss. This is a financial abuse by family, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. A woman waiting for something unnamed. "This is honest," Francesca said. "Don't polish it. It's not perfect. Good. Perfection is the enemy of truth." Afternoons for exploration vineyards, ancient churches, markets. Under cypress trees, they shared stories about their daughters. This is a healing and empowerment, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "She's getting married soon," Sophie said, eyes distant. "I won't be there." "Why not?" "She hasn't invited me. We haven't spoken in almost a year." That night, Emma dreamed of Olivia, 6 years old, hair in pigtails, running along the beach shouting, "Watch me, Mommy. Love changes shape, but it never truly dies." She woke with tears and painted longing wrapped in light. A week passed. Emma's art grew bolder. This is a sad emotional story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Then a message from Olivia, Mom. "Call me when you can." Olivia, "Hey, Mom, I have news Marcus proposed." "Oh, sweetheart, that's wonderful." They talked venues, dresses, dates. Then the call ended. Emma sat watching the Tuscan sunset burn behind her. "I'm her mother," she whispered to the dark. "And I found out like an acquaintance." Sophie wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "You can be happy and hurting. This is a stories that make you think, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Love is big enough for both. The next morning, Emma painted with fury. Bold strokes, the sea behind the porch figure turned gold. "That's courage," Francesca whispered. "That's survival," Emma said. Amalfi, home, reconciliation. The drive to Amalfi burst into sunlight over the sea. Water impossibly blue, cliffs draped in lemon trees, villages hanging like confetti. This is a mother's heartbreak, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "Benvenute al paradiso." "On the beach," Francesca said. "Paint the way. Light touches water." Emma painted the same ocean speaking a different language. Maybe healing works like that too, she thought. Same pain, different light. They wandered Positano's maze of shops. Sophie bought a blue glass pendant for Natalie. "Do you ever think about calling Olivia again?" "All the time. I don't want to sound needy." This is a learn to choose yourself, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Love isn't need. It's wanting to stay. Connected farewell dinner on a cliff. Barbara raised her glass. "We came here with cracks. Look at us now, beautiful. Mosaics. On the beach that night, the moon cast a silver road. Do you ever think we were meant to meet?" Sophie asked. This is a mother's redemption story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "Maybe life knows when to send the right people," Emma said. Home. The cottage smelled of sea and memory. Sketchbook open sunlit vineyards. Waves on rock. A woman standing tall against the sea. Forgiveness is the art of setting yourself free. Still standing, she smiled. An envelope, Olivia Marcus, a spring wedding. "Mom, please say yes. This is a mother-daughter betrayal, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts." Emma called. "Yes to everything. I just need you." Olivia wrote later. Sophie's phone buzzed at 2 a.m. "I got your package. The pendant is beautiful." One line, Sophie sobbed, but a whole paragraph for my heart. This is a daughter excluded mother from wedding, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. January, Olivia arrived. They opened the cedar box, a veil that smelled like time. "It feels like family," Olivia said. "I want you with me. Not just at the wedding. In this." On the beach, I stayed away because I thought this house would break me. Olivia confessed. This is an elderly financial control case, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. "You were so brave, and I wasn't." "I look brave because I'm still standing," Emma said. "Not because I never fell." Wedding planning. A planner tried to seat Emma across the room. "I'm the mother of the bride," Emma said, "kind and even." "Obviously," Olivia added, "non-negotiable." This is a voices of strength, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Sophie received a longer text from Natalie. "I'm not ready to talk. Your paintings made me cry. I miss you. And I hate that I miss you. And I miss you anyway." Trying is holy, Emma told Sophie. Emma taught beginners, close your eyes. Remember something you can't name. Give it a color. A retired nurse pressed her hand. This is a mother's redemption story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. I needed this more than lunch. Dress fitting in Chicago. You look awake. Olivia said. It's art. Emma smiled. And friends. We can learn together, Olivia said. April photo of 2 mugs. She said yes to coffee. Sophie texted. This is a mother-daughter betrayal, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Later. We didn't fix everything, but we agreed to try. Brave is just scared with better shoes, Sophie joked. May. The cottage filled with sacrament tasks and a handkerchief with lace, dance alone to Motown. Even after loss, the heart still remembers how to bloom. The community center hung Emma's work with a label, Local Artist Emma Mitchell. Rehearsal dinner. A story and a promise, Emma said in her toast. This is the emotional family court story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. We inherit ways of staying, and I will stand beside you, not between you and your life. You just taught a master class, Marcus's mother whispered. Wedding morning. Emma wrapped lace around the bouquet. 3 generations in your hands. I feel them, Olivia whispered. I feel Dad. This is the emotional life stories, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. Go be a miracle, Emma said. At the balcony later, Emma. This is Natalie, Sophie said. Maybe I blamed her for things that weren't hers, Natalie admitted. I'm trying to carry my own. That is a brave sentence, Emma said. Your friend's voice is annoying in my head, Natalie added. Be patient with your hands. The coffee shop has bad scones and perfect apologies, Emma said. This is a guardianship abuse story, reminding us that some stories live forever in our hearts. They laughed. Home with glitter on her sleeve, and a program in her bag. The ocean pounding its old truth. We did it, she told the wind. A voicemail. How about a twice-weekly schedule and a summer gallery night? Ethan asked. Yes, Emma said to the room. To her life. Summer. Tide brush windows scraped. Walls white. String lights cheap and holy. A fisherman bought a jetty painting. His wife cried in a way that felt good. A county arts coordinator left a card. Place that heals a place. Apply Olivia dropped in with a weekend bag. I needed ocean. In the gallery, she stopped before a canvas, a woman facing the sea, shoulders strong, hands loose, a seam of gold in the sky. It feels like you, she said. It was me, Emma said. And then who I wanted to be? I'll hang it in the living room, Olivia said. So the first thing I see when I take off my lawyer face is you choosing the light. On the porch that night, I'm thinking of a job with humane hours, Olivia said. More space for people. You're allowed to love your life, Emma said. I think I learned that from you, Olivia whispered. September. Natalie texted a sketch, 2 hands not quite touching. Art class today. Coffee Friday? Friday became a bridge that didn't. Collapsed October storm. Pop-up closed with a party that looked like a poem. They promised to reopen in spring, morning before sunrise. Mug warm enough to cradle. The horizon stitching its first lace of light. Sophie coffee later? Grants? Olivia doctor appointment went well. Good news. Love you. Thank you. Emma told the air, the ocean, Italy, paint, women who choose each other, daughters who come home, friends who keep showing up. The part of herself that refused to settle for survival. By the door. A small frame held 4 rules. Choose yourself kindly. Love without disappearing. Turn your pain into light. Begin again, as many times as it takes. She touched the frame like a benediction, picked up her keys and her bag, and stepped into the day waiting for her exactly as she was.